Welcome, everybody, to the October 19th, 2016 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At this time, I'd request that everybody turn off their cell phones or pagers. And please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For people that haven't been here, I'll give you a little guideline. The applications for rezoning heard in tonight's meeting will be voted on by the Planning and Zoning Commission during the meeting. The Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendations of the applications will then be submitted to the St. Charles County Council for their final decision on these items. The individual items and bills for these applications are scheduled to be introduced on Monday, November 14th, 2016 at the County Council meeting. Applications for preliminary plats heard during tonight's meeting will also be voted on by the Planning and Zoning Commission during the meeting. The vote on a preliminary plats is final. Only a recommendation for denial of a preliminary plat will be heard before the County Council. The following documents are introduced as a matter of record for the public hearing at a regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Unified Development Ordinance of St. Charles County, including zoning maps, the year 2025 master plan for the St. Charles County, which includes the year 2025 future land use map. That being said, as a little guideline, we'll read each of the applications into the record. The staff will give their recommendations. The applicant will open this up for the applicant. If he is here, they can speak regarding the application. And after they have spoken, we tried to limit this to, we don't have a big crowd tonight, try to limit the comments and not be repetitious, but then we'll open it up to the public. If you have anybody for or against the application, they'll be heard. And please fill out your name and information and give it to Sheila here at the front desk. After that, we'll ask the applicant if they would like to address any of the concerns, if there are any. And at that point, we will close the discussion for the public, and the commissioners here will have any discussion, and then we will take a vote. So with that being said, I open the meeting, and our first item on the agenda is a rezoning, and conditional use permit 2547 South Highway 94. It's account number T0713000007.
Mr. Chairman, at the request of the applicant, I move that CUR 15-05 be tabled.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We will table. Thank you. Second application, the second item on the agenda tonight is the application RZ 16000011. It's the owners are Defiance Hall Association. Applicant is People's Savings Bank of Rhineland. Existing zoning is agricultural district. The existing land is vacant. The action they're requesting is rezoning from agricultural district to C1 neighborhood commercial district on the northwest corner of Highway 94 South and 2nd Street in Defiance. The size is 0.27 acres. Staff.
Thank you. The surrounding zoning of this property to the south is C1 local commercial and I1 FF C1 neighborhood commercial and I1 FF light industrial with floodway fringe overlay district. The other surrounding properties are all zoned A agricultural. Uses include the Defiance Hall to the north, to the south is multi-usage and single-family residential, to the east is agricultural and residential, and to the west is vacant. The year 2025 master plan shows the property to be developed with agritourism. In reviewing this application, staff finds the zoning appropriate at this location. We have C1 zoning across Second Street from the location, and then there's industrial zoning in the area. Along 94, we have rezoned properties, some of them further north than this, but we have rezoned properties in this corridor. The properties are not connected to sanitary sewer. They have to use septic systems, and with the small parcels, that becomes difficult for residential use. At this location, they have requested, or they have submitted a site plan. They aren't held to that site plan through the meeting, but they have indicated that they just want to put an ATM on the property. And an ATM obviously does not need sewer, so we find that to be a good thing. And so staff is recommending approval of the commercial zoning, citing the other commercial zoning in the area. And there were no letters. Are there any questions of staff?
Any questions? Would the applicant like to come forward? Could you state your name and address for the record?
My name is Don Meyer. Address is 1001 Sycamore Creek Drive, Wentzville, Missouri, 63385.
And could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. As staff kind of mentioned, our intent here is to put an ATM on this site. We've, because of our banks in New Medley and Wing Haven, got a lot of clients in that area, and we wanted to provide them with access, obviously, to their cash and checking accounts, and also this ATM may take deposits as well, so it would give some convenience to some of the commercial clients and customers down that way as well. We are very involved with small communities, so it's our intent with the final wrapping and I guess, design of the ATM to make sure it fits into the community. Obviously, it's an older part of town. We are going to make that similar to older part of town, whether it be looking like an old limestone house or a red bar or whatever the case may be. We're going to work to make sure that it's fit and appropriate for that area as well. And obviously, we would like to ask for your request, the approval of this request this evening.
Do you have any questions for the applicant? See none? Thank you.
Is it like a building, or is it?
It will be a building, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
Will be unmanned?
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct. At this point, there's some technology down the road. You might be able to connect with a teller at a location somewhere down the road, but we won't have that in place on the, at least initially, but that's quickly changing with technology.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone out there that would like to speak for or against this application? If so, if you could please leave a speaker card. Can you please state your name and address?
Rick Dodson, 411 Westbrook, O'Fallon, Missouri, 63366.
Rick, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God, I do.
Thank you, Rick.
I want to thank you for taking up this and this motion. And we in our 148-year history, we're getting ready to sell 150 years in 2 years. We appreciate, we've never really asked for much, but with technology down there, not having a satellite or a tree that looks like some type of thing that gets the signal, we would be really grateful. We have a lot of Defiance Association events at our location there because we're right in the middle of town, and we work with the churches and everything else. And as our Masons, our main person isn't here tonight, but we would appreciate your approval, and thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak for or against this application? I see none. I'll close the public hearing and open up this to the commission. Any discussion?
Well, to me, it seems like a natural change in zoning to a better highest and best use. You've got commercial use all around it, and I think it makes sense to have it there.
Anyone else? Is there a motion?
So motion to approve?
To approve? And second?
A second.
I didn't catch it.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll get it, just call the names, yeah.
Yep. Mr. Setley, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. McBride, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis, how do you
Yes.
vote? Mr. Leonard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries. If I added that up, 7.
I got
Who did I forget?
me.
Oh, sorry.
We have one more.
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. I'm sorry. So we have 8-0.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. The next application is RZ1612. The applicant is St. Charles County. The property owner is multiple. The current zoning is R1A, single-family residential district, 1 acre minimum lot size. Proposed zoning is R1B, single-family residential district, 20,000 square foot minimum lot size. Number of lots, 24. Location, all properties are fronting Fairdale Lane from 4100 to 4149 on Fairdale Lane, Council District 7. And all the account numbers, should I? Okay. Staff.
Thank you. Okay, the zoning's in the area to the north is R1A, single-family residential. That's also found to the south and east. Also to the east is R1B with the PUD. That's a 20,000 square foot minimum lot size district. And to the west is R1B, single-family residential. The surrounding properties, with the exception to the south, are either single-family residences or under development to be single-family residences. This is the subdivision, this is the subdivision Fairdale Acres. Let me pull that up for you. Oops. The Fairdale Acres subdivision, it was platted in 1958, and all of the lots, as you can see, are 100 by 200 square feet, except for the 2 lots furthest to the west. And through changes of zoning ordinances and things, when we initially adopted zoning, it was an 18,000 square foot minimum lot size. Then in 1973, everything south of Towers Road basically was put into the R1A district. And these lots are considered lots of record. The plat was already recorded, they're recorded, so they're lots of record or they're grandfathered in. And the reason for the rezoning is we had a request for one of the lots to place a home to move a home onto the lot. These lots being 100 feet wide, the R1A setbacks are cumbersome in that the R1A setbacks are 20 feet on each side. So that leaves a smaller building pad for a home. So staff is recommending approval of this. I should also note that, like in 1959, the side yard setbacks for this area were 15 feet. The R1A put it at 20 feet. If we approve the R1B zoning, then the side yard setbacks are 10 feet. But the zoning change is not going to change the lot configuration. We have no developer coming forward wanting to do anything. We as staff probably see that any redevelopment will happen on a case-by-case basis as someone sells a lot and someone wants to rebuild a new home or add on to one of the existing homes. So staff is recommending approval based on the future land use plan does show 1 to 4 units per acre. This is well within that. The fact that there are lots of record and the zoning fits the lots of record and the other zonings in the area. We did have letters. We have 2 opposition letters, one from Doug McGregor and one from Tamara Henderson McGregor, 2 letters of concern, one from Noel Cushman and one from Donna Sion. Any questions of staff?
I mentioned this is what we went through at the last meeting with Mr. Myers, went through this in the history, and nothing
Correct.
has changed since then.
No.
Okay. Any other questions for staff?
Just go straight to the public hearing. No applicant. Where the applicant?
Yep. Since there isn't any applicant, I guess we go to the public hearing. And is there anybody that would like to speak for or against this rezoning? I see none. We'll close the public hearing. Any discussion amongst the commissioners?
I think it makes sense to retrofit the zoning to what the size of the lots are, for one thing, and I think that there's some infill lots that could make very nice starter homes in there, so I think it's a good change in use.
Any other discussion? Do I have a motion for approval?
I make a motion to approve it.
Kevin makes a motion. Any second?
Second. Ron.
Ron?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Clary, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Setley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. McBride, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion passes 8-0. The next item on the agenda is account number 57657-0A000. It's a preliminary plat for a re-subdivision of Lot 5 at Greenwood Acres and Westwood Drive. The application, PRE 1609. Engineer is Pickett Ray and Silver Incorporated. The owner and developers are Steve and Lisa Giannicola, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. The property zoning is R2, two-family residential district. Number of lots 2. The area is 0.545 acres. Location is on the north side of Westwood Drive, approximately 200 feet from Countryside Drive and Council District 3. Staff.
This is a subdivision plat. We did the rezoning of this to R2 a few months ago. They got permits to build a duplex-type unit, and then they chose to subdivide it into 2 separate lots. They wanted to wait until they had the party wall between the 2 buildings done, so they could survey the exact property line, which is the wall between the buildings. So they've come forward with this preliminary plat. All of the corrections have been made. It meets the county requirements. Staff has no concerns,
No letters.
no letters.
No letters.
You're right. Oh, we had a letter from Missouri American Water saying that they could provide water to the site.
Any questions for staff? I see none. Would the applicant like to come forward?
We're doing the
Please, yeah, please state your name and address.
Steve Giancola, 50 David Drive.
Steve, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Thank you, Steve.
we are submitting the preliminary today, but I need to get the record plat signed also. I don't know if who signs that or when it gets signed, but I need it to get it done like soon as I can because I'm trying to get some people moved in this house.
We don't have the Mylar yet to sign,
Okay.
but we sent
So
comments on
what
it.
do I need to do?
We sent comments to your engineering firm. He needs to get the revised plat back to us, the final plat. And when we say okay, then he prints it on Mylar. You get your signatures on it and bring it to us for the final signatures.
Okay, so
It's all
have
good.
you talked to Dave?
We sent him an email I'm gonna say Monday?
So if I got that done tomorrow, can I bring it to somebody and they can sign it tomorrow?
Depends on how busy I am.
No, you won't be able to get it signed tomorrow. I would be really surprised if you could get all of your signatures in the day. But we can talk about this later. Because the final plat does not have bearing on the preliminary plat this evening. They're two separate plats.
Okay, so we're approving the preliminary
Correct.
today,
Yes.
and then what do I gotta do? Get the final, the
Right.
Mylar?
Right, yeah,
then-
your lender and everyone has to sign it before you bring it into us, that Mylar.
Okay.
You
we'll-
want to talk to Dave Scornia tomorrow
Okay,
morning.
well, say I can get that all done tomorrow. Can I bring it to, who do I gotta bring it to?
You bring it to me, but I'm in Jefferson City tomorrow.
That's perfect. This
But,
is-
I mean, we usually, when the final plat comes in, the Mylar comes to us, it usually has to be with us for a couple days. Because we have to check it over, we have to get Roger in to sign it. It's just regular protocol. But you get it into us, and I will do my best to get it as soon as possible.
Okay,
That's all I can guarantee.
all right, what else? But everything else is good?
Questions?
Any questions?
No questions.
No, we're good.
All right, thank you.
Would anyone else in the audience like to speak for or against this application? I see none. We'll close the public hearing. Any discussion with the commissioners? Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have Mr. Sutley making a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
And Mr. Clary, second. Mr. Sutley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Clary, how do you
Yes.
vote? We'll start down at that end. Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
how do you vote? Mr. Kuhn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Ellis, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Abstain. Mr. McBride, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. The motion carries 7-1. Good morning. We had a revision on, I think that's the last item on the agenda. We didn't have any tabled motions. We did get a revised copy of the minutes. I guess everybody got that from last month's, and so I need a motion for approval of the revised minutes.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Any other business? We can get home to watch the debates, maybe.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second for adjournment?
Second.
By acclamation, everybody?
Aye.
Aye. Drive home safely.
Shorty and a quickie.